is Thursday, June 11th, 2026, and this is The High Road, Logistics and Leadership. I'm Jules Sterling, and I'm the diplomat who keeps retail contracts from unraveling when the supply chain hits a snag.
I'm Elena Rossi.
This is Buck Reynolds.
You're listening to Dan Miller. We have a great show for you today.
Well, we've got a solid lineup today. Yesterday, we were talking about that Gatique autonomous rollout for PepsiCo. Elena, I know you were skeptical about those driverless cabs in the Arkansas rain.
Actually, I remain cautious. Complacency is the precursor to catastrophe. And the risk profile for those mid-mile routes is still a major question mark.
Look, I was more into the FedEx pilot deal yesterday. Getting that stability while they merge the express and ground networks is a total pro move. Bottom line, you can't build a 2.0 network without the folks in the flight deck being happy.
Well, if they can find the fuel to fly, I'm still looking at the Gordie Howe Bridge and wondering if we're just building a bigger parking lot for customs. But hey, today is about the smile that finally stopped playing nice.
Right. Yesterday, June 10th, Amazon officially unchained its LTL operations. It's now open to every business in the country, regardless of whether they sell on the marketplace or not.
Look, the market reaction was sharp. According to investing.com, Old Dominion stock dropped 6%, and FedEx Freight, which just spun off as its own company 10 days ago, took an identical hit.
Oh, wow.
It's real. XPO and Saia were both down about 5%. I mean, when the most efficient logistics engine in history opens its doors to third-party pallets, people panic.
Well, right? I mean, Amazon Supply Chain Services is essentially offering door-to-door LTL service nationwide. 1 to 6 pallets, up to 15,000 pounds. And my retail clients are losing their minds over the pricing.
Actually, I'm looking at the risk management side. Amazon is pushing what they call a unified drop trailer pool. If I may, it simplifies yard operations, but it also gives Amazon total visibility into their competitors' distribution centers.
Here's the deal. They're leveraging 80,000 trailers and 24,000 intermodal containers. That's a massive fleet to dump into the LTL market. My thing is, I've seen those blue trailers for years. Now, they're your new neighbor at every retail dock.
And they're bringing the digital clipboard compliance matrix with them.
Right. It sort of changes the relationship, doesn't it? It's not a handshake anymore, it's an algorithm. But, before we get into the trade mess, we have to look at the border. Elena, what's the word on the USMCA?
Actually, it's a sunset crisis. According to BNN Bloomberg, President Trump signaled yesterday that he is not looking to renew the USMCA during the July 1st review. He's citing a $12 billion trade deficit with Canada for early 2026.
Look, he literally said we don't need anything Canada or Mexico has, but they need everything we have. That's a high-stakes play for a 2036 sunset. But if you're in the auto industry, you're sweating.
You're telling me.
Bottom line, unless they renew, the deal enters a cycle of annual reviews that kills long-term investment.
Well, tell that to Volvo. They just scaled their Nuevo Leon plant to $1 billion super plant. Mack and Volvo trucks for the whole U.S. market. If the border turns into a trade war zone, those trucks aren't moving anywhere.
Actually, Karen is reporting the DoD just added Alibaba and BYD to the Chinese military companies. So if your supply chain touches those tech giants, you're potentially blacklisted from federal contracts. It's a total realignment of where we move freight.
Now it's time for From the Sleeper Cab, our Thursday segment where we talk about the realities of the road and the safety of our drivers. Here's the deal. Last week, Volvo Trucks North America officially detailed their unattended over-the-air updates. For years, a driver had to stay in the cab with the key in the on position, basically babysitting a laptop during their rest break. Now, you can lock the truck, walk away, and it reflashes the powertrain or transmission on its own.
Wait, Buck, actually, I have a major concern with that. If a driver initiates an unattended update and walks away, who verifies that the update didn't brick the transmission?
Well, the system sends a success notification to your phone.
That's not enough. My thing is, from a risk standpoint, you have a 30-ton vehicle on a 24-volt platform performing its own software surgery without a human present? If the sensor calibration fails during that update and the driver pulls out onto the highway, you've just bypassed a critical safety inspection point.
Oh, hold on. Volvo pushed 18,000 of these in May alone. They're claiming a 24% reduction in unplanned stops because the shifting logic stays current. I mean, my thing is, it gives the driver his time back.
It gives the driver a false sense of security. Software is the single biggest cause of electronic failures in new Class 8s. I'd much rather have the driver attended and verifying that the truck actually starts and idles correctly after a flash, rather than finding out when he's trying to merge into traffic.
I mean, sort of a classic Buck and Elena standoff, right? Integrity of the machine versus efficiency of the clock.
Well, hey, software is one thing, but plate swapping is another. On Monday in Caledon, Ontario, the OPP pulled over a rig that had been put out of service a week prior. Instead of fixing the major defects, the carrier tried to bypass the law with a plate swap and new stickers.
Oh, shut up.
Oh yeah, 17 charges for the company and the driver. They thought a Sharpie and a prayer could beat an inspector. But, I gotta mention a real highway angel. James Brown from Melton Truck Lines.
Oh, tell us.
Near Little Rock, visibility down to 25 feet. A fellow trucker flips. James pulls over and finds the driver with a severed artery in his leg. James is a former Marine. He improvised a tourniquet using a seatbelt, held that driver together for 2 hours until the ambulance could get through the storm.
Actually, that is pure grit. That seatbelt is the most effective safety tech I've heard of all week.
Saved his life. From the sleeper cab, that's a wrap.
Well, sort of hard to follow a seatbelt tourniquet, but Dan, before we get into the main story, you had a message.
Strategic logistics requires world-class engineering. This show is powered by the stack developed by Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. Support the architect behind the code. Visit our Patreon at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia for a free trial and access to our daily briefing PDF.
Honestly, that PDF is sort of the only way I stay ahead of my accounts, right? Anyway, go support Eric and the team. Now, we have to talk about the real storm hitting today. June 11th, the medical certification gap. Elena, take the lead.
Actually, today, the FMCSA's medical certification waiver is officially dead. It has expired, and CDL holders must now rely entirely on their motor vehicle record for proof of certification.
Look, FreightWaves is reporting a massive breakdown in the National Registry. Drivers are passing their physicals, but the doctors are failing to upload the results to the FMCSA by the new midnight next day deadline. If that doctor misses the window, the driver's CDL is automatically downgraded.
Wait, so they're legal in the office, but illegal on the road?
Precisely. It's an upload gap. Veteran drivers like Gord McGill are already flagging this. The physician uploads it, the FMCSA routes it, and the state records it. If any of those links break, the driver is pulled off the road through no fault of their own. And my thing is, for a carrier, The liability of having a downgraded driver involved in a minor fender bender is, well, it's a nuclear verdict waiting to happen.
It's the digital clipboard fail of the century, and it's hitting at the same time as this rail theft surge. Did you see the Winslow bust in Arizona?
Look, Coconino County Sheriff just recovered $500,000 in stolen electronics near Meteor Crater. High-stakes crews targeting BNSF trains. They're offloading merchandise into box trucks while the train is stopped.
Oh, wow.
According to Detective Curtis Peary, Arizona is seeing 8 to 12 of these organized raids every month now. It's not opportunistic pilferage anymore. It's a strategic, cyber-enabled heist. They know exactly which containers have the high-value electronics. I mean, they're using the same tracking data we use for operational excellence to target the high-margin freight.
It sort of feels like a systemic fragility, right? I mean, we have a medical card upload failure and then organized crime using our own tracking tech to rob trains?
Actually, Jules, it's deeper than that. It's about the financial headwinds, too. Look at the Iron Truck Services collapse. Knight Swift and Chubb had a $130 million loss on a program that was supposed to use telematics to make high-risk carriers insurable. Instead, it just attracted carriers that were invisible to the FMCSA because they hid behind the Knight Swift name.
So the tech didn't lower the risk. It just hid it?
Exactly. And when it failed catastrophically. And now we're seeing Bloomberg report that America's CarMart, the subprime auto giant, is seeking a $500 million rescue financing. That's the credit health of the entire logistics workforce flashing code red. It's a convergence of regulatory failure, physical risk, and financial instability that constitutes a major pivot for the industry.
Look, it's the long siege of 2026. You've got Wabash fighting a debt downgrade while secure in their Washington regulatory wins. And then you've got diesel spikes on the West Coast hitting $4.40 a gallon. Bottom line, the margins are being eaten by security taxes and digital friction. If you aren't running at peak operational excellence, you are circling the drain.
I mean, it's almost too much for one Thursday, right? But then you see something like the new Mac Granite redesign, the 9-inch wider cab, the integrated grab bars for driver health. It sort of reminds you that the industry is still trying to solve the human problems, even when the systems fail.
Actually, that's the core of the show today. Whether it's Amazon's algorithm or the upload gap at the FMCSA, the technology is only as good as the human oversight. If you lose the driver or you lose the handshake, you lose the whole logistics network.
My thing is, you can't automate integrity. Not in a shop, not at the border, and certainly not in a medical registry. The iron stays strong, but the systems are showing cracks.
Look, we're in the middle of a strategic reset. Carriers that can manage the data and the physical risk are the ones who are going to be hauling those Amazon competitor pallets in 2027. It's high-stakes chess, and we're in the end game.
Well, and I'll be here to translate it for the VPs of supply chain.
You bet you will.
Well, that does it for us today on The High Road. From the smile going nationwide to the improvised tourniquet in a Little Rock rainstorm, it's clear that the human element is still the most important gear in the machine. Keep an eye on those blue trailers. They're officially your new neighbors.
Stay safe.
Later.
Peace out.
Don't forget to check those medical uploads. We'll see you in the back.